What is up, y'all? It's Coffee back at it with the news, man. Hit them buttons for me, sub up. Got a lot to get to, so let's get it, man. We talk it all over here, but you see, first up, man, what a highlight reel material right there from Bron getting in peak performance mode heading into the playoffs, man. What do they got? Like 5 games left. You see this beautiful alley-oop from Reeves to Bron. They ended up going on to smash on the former team of LeBron, the Cavaliers, man. And you see some of the stats here. D'Lo, 28 points. LeBron, 24 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds. AD, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks, 3 steals. Prince, 18 points. And this actually moves them into the 8th seed. First time since December. They were in the 9th seed, still in the play tournament, part of the standings, but they move up because how's it go? The lower teams have to win more games. I forget the whole play-in tournament thing. I personally don't like it, but my bro Lon, who is like the J Coffee Talk basketball consultant, you know what I mean? Well, Millie gives me basketball-ish as well, but like Lon loves talking basketball. He's a Pelicans fan. And with that being said, but I remember him saying something like the lower seeded teams have to win more games, or I forget how it goes. I personally just want to see 1 through 8 make the playoffs. I don't like all this extra ish. Let me know if you do or not. But the Lakers, they won that mid-season tournament as well. But you see where they're at, man, hanging right in there into getting in the playoffs. And LeBron playing like that, that's the kind of momentum you want to have pushing into the postseason. Comment, everyone, are you ready for the playoffs? Is your team in or out? I do want to point out, when you see me showing these stats, it has the Lakers still at the 9th seed. This game wasn't calculated into these standings that I'm showing y'all. My Knicks in the playoffs, is your team in or out? What's the thoughts on the playoffs? Let's talk about it all. It's an exciting time of year, man. NBA and NHL playoffs about to start. Like, it's go mode. You heard?
I'm not a big, the coach. It was the coach. That's why the season was so horrible. It was just the coach. But sometimes in order for the team, the set players that you have in the locker room to realize and fulfill their full potential, you need somebody that they are willing to play for. Like, you know what I mean? You've seen a difference. And I love Josh McDaniels. I personally, I was an advocate for him the whole time. And obviously it came to a point where it was clear that a change needed to be made, similar to the Patriots situation. But, I always backed him. But it was just different once we had made the change and AP was in there, having a guy that you don't necessarily have to play the game, but having played the game, you can kind of understand it different. And we can, you can sympathize with the players, the way you talk to them, whether it's the verbiage or the understanding that you approach your players with. You've seen that with AP immediately. So when you have guys that have lived it a little bit, you can unlock a little bit of something with a few players where you think that you need a new, end or a middle backer, whereas you might need a new coach in there that can really make that guy really do what he's supposed to do to play like the player he's supposed to be. And then that happened with a lot of guys. You thought that we needed to fill some gaps on defense, and maybe we could have in a few spots, but a couple guys started showing up out of nowhere, and we looked like one of the best defenses in the league.
Of course, and that was because of the leadership he brought.
It's a piece of that for sure.
Speaking of AP, what did it feel like going through that process? Because it looked different from a fan standpoint, how you guys rallied around him.
Yeah.
I saw one of the players famously said, if he's out, I'm out. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought...
Yeah, who said that?
That was Max.
Yeah, Max.
We was all kind of on the same, mental with that because, and for me, and I know the Patriot way, these men go and hoist that trophy every other year. So they've really experienced real winning. So for me, I've never been a cigar in the locker room guy, unless it's a Super Bowl. I haven't won one, but that's my idea of when that's the right time to do that. And, we got a lot of backlash for the way that we were celebrating some of the wins on the back half of the season. And, from the outside, maybe I would be saying the same thing, but being in that locker room and being a part of what we went through this year, unless you were in there and understood, then you maybe just won't get it, and you'll think that it's kind of crazy, and we celebrating too soon and all of that. I was in the videos with him, and normally I'll be trying to hide to stay away from that stuff. I'm like, man, F that. Like, we deserve this because this is a new season for us right now. Right now, we're doing pretty damn good.
The nuance of what you said, you didn't think you shouldn't celebrate like that, but what you've all go through in terms of the hard work and the physical part of everything, you're willing to do it when you got the right leadership.
Right.
I mean, that's
correct.
Because you feel it differently, right?
Yeah, you see, like somebody put, the internet is undefeated. You go on Twitter, the game that we won, we beat the Giants the week after our last win. I think when we played the Patriots, you look at the locker room, how we looked in that locker room, like it was like a picture of Josh talking to the team after we won, and you see probably like 10 players, and everybody just kind of like. And then you see the next week when we beat the Giants, like it looked like it was
relax with the Giants.
Everybody
relax. I said the Patriots.
So by the way, what we're talking about with the Raiders now and with the Patriots, 2 black head coaches, which is always a topic of conversation.
5 in the league now.
Is that 5?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 5 in the league is always a topic of conversation, which I always think, maybe I'm naive. I believe, like I know you for sure, you're going for the best person for the job.
Me,
right?
I want to win.
You want to win. I think people want to win. Maybe I'm naive, but is there a sense amongst the players like, oh, our new coach is black, this is different? Was there any conversation with the players about that?
I think we being honest. I think that depending on the location of the team makes that a bigger deal.
What do you mean?
Like a black head coach on the Patriots is going to be much bigger, in my mind at least, than putting a black head coach on the Raiders as far as the way it's perceived. And the same would go for Green Bay. I think that's just kind of the nature of it. It's not necessarily
that's actually nice that you say that.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just the way that it is. Some of the teams are not, it's not looked at as, like there's any racism attached to it or anything like that. No negative connotations, but it's more of like just the history that's been there, and you haven't really seen it happen that way before. And the Raiders is just a little bit of a different type of team.
They had the first ever black coach in the history of the league. The Raiders did, just Archell. For sure.
Well, there you go.
Part of this whole thing I'm doing with Blue Square is to build bridges against hatred.
Yeah, and I saw what you did, obviously, with the ad in the Super Bowl, which I commend you. It was amazing to reach out, make that phone call.
Man, what a great, intricate interview Davante Adams did there on The Shop. I like that show. Tap in. Let me know if you fluck with The Shop. It's so wild, man. Me being a Bills fan and Stephon Diggs being traded. I don't want to get too off topic, but the year after, not last year, the year prior, when everything happened with Damar Hamlin and all that, as the Bills were the number 1 seed at that time. And it was such an emotional situation. Like, thank God that man is alive. You know what I mean? I don't mean to sound insensitive whenever I reference that time, but I always feel like that affected the Bills greatly. Like, damn near having a heart attack. Diggs himself was right at the hospital, and it was just such an emotional roller coaster. And after that offseason, the way it ended against the Bengals and Eli Apple acting like a straight hoe, in the blogosphere, on social media and everything, that was where a lot of people first traced everything with Diggs. Like, oh, it's gone bad, this, that, and the third. But he appeared on this show. That's what makes me bring it all up, on The Shop. And he basically, let everyone know, yo, I'm good. I'm okay. I just needed to deal with things how I deal with it. I'm a Bill. Me and Josh are going to keep pushing to get this ring and the rest of the squad. And then we see the way things happened last year. And then here we are now. Diggs gets traded. Again, The Shop made me think of all this. You know what I'm saying? Diggs did a really good interview on there. It still hurts to see him go. It's still a crazy deal, but I don't know. I keep telling everyone it was Diggs versus the front office. I think it wasn't Diggs and his fellow teammates. You know what I mean? But comment with your thoughts about that. But transitioning into more what we're talking about here, another wild situation, Davante Adams, man, the Raiders. You hear him talking about AP. He did a great job taking over as interim coach. Like, hopefully he can really push the Raiders into a contender, into a serious playoff push, because they've had so much drama. Even before all this that happened last year, all the bullish behind the scenes politics with the team when they wanted to bring in Brady and it didn't happen. The leaked emails with John Gruden, the ish Gruden was saying in those leaked emails, just everything, all this stuff that's happened with the front office, the coaching staff and things like that really affected this team greatly, and it's a shame because they're a really good squad, man. They got a lot of talent. Shout out to my bro, Mike, man, who's sitting behind that wall. He's a Raiders fan. And, I really feel for the Raiders fan base having to deal with all this stuff. But I think they're in prime position right now when things are looking up for the Raiders heading into this season, man. I really like the Shop Show. They really get those hard-hitting, in-depth interviews that the fans want to see. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all agree with that. But Kraft was also there because at first I kept hearing all these Patriots references as they're on the rebuild. And I'm like, wow, why do they keep referencing the Patriots so much? When they were talking about cigars in the locker room and celebrating when you might not necessarily really need to and things like that. But then I saw Kraft was there and, Mayo took over the team. And what do you guys think about all these discussions about both of these squads having black head coaches? As you heard, 2 of 5 of the black coaches in the league. As a Bills fan, I remember the one year, I can't remember if it was Jerron who got fired, who was a buster. Perry Fuel, who was a black dude, I think he was our defensive coordinator, took over the team as interim. And I liked his mind state, his mentality, but the Bills didn't go with him. But he ended up becoming a head coach elsewhere with the Chargers. And I thought it was interesting what Adam said there, not speaking of it in a racism standpoint or positive, negative, how people say what people feel, but just a great point when he said regionally is different, right? And it was like he was saying that right to Kraft, and Kraft agreed. You know what I'm saying? He kept it a buck with him, like, hey, regionally, that's going to be bigger news and it's going to be a different situation in different places. Like Massachusetts, New England, Foxborough, a black head coach, that's different. You know what I mean? Like the way things are in the Boston area and stuff like that. I'm not even going to delve into it, but I'm sure a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. For them to have a black head coach is different than with the Raiders, where you heard what was said. They had the first black head coach ever. It's not a thing that really needs to be addressed as it does regionally over there in New England. You know what I mean? Like, things are different in New England, and I'll say that and I'll leave it at that. And I want to open the comments for everyone's thoughts about everything that was touched on in this portion of the video, this segment, and all that. Let's talk about it all. Head coaching changes, teams on the rebuild, drama with the team in the front office and everything like that, and coaching in the brass, I guess you could say, metaphorically speaking. What's your guys' thoughts? Let's talk about it all. Then this is some sad news here. Comment if y'all watch Yellowstone. Really good show, man. I got to get back into watching that. I was only like a season and a half in. Shout out to my bro, Millie. Hit me with the Peacock pause. You know what I'm saying? I got to get back on Peacock and get back into Yellowstone. A lot of people love that show, but a spin-off show, a prequel, what is it called? 1923. This actor, Cole Brings Plenty, has been found deceased. As it's really sad, this dude was only 27 years old. Where did this happen? Was this in Kansas, I believe. And basically, the police were looking for him in connection with a domestic incident, and he went missing. They couldn't find him. They found a car, and they knew it was, I believe, his car, or if it wasn't his car, they knew he was like connected to that car one way or another. He was driving it, and then off in a wooded area not far away, he was found deceased. And his father has said, I am deeply saddened to confirm that my son Cole has been found and is no longer with us. And we want to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone for the prayers and positive thoughts you sent for Cole. We would also like to thank everyone who came to walk beside us as we searched for my son and provided the resources we needed to expand our search areas. I learned this week how many people knew the goodness in Cole's heart and loved him during this incredibly difficult time. We ask for privacy as we process our grief and figure out how we move forward. So very, very sad news. Talented actor, R.I.P. to him. Yo, everyone, I keep saying this, like I was saying in that cruise video, it's wild times we're living in. A lot of people are going through a lot of things. Be there for your loved ones, man. It can really make the difference. And then to close this out, we talk about wild times we're living in. Diddy, okay? We all know what's going on. The investigation, I keep saying, I think Diddy is going to get hit with that RICO. Let me know if you concur, if you agree. But he hasn't done much social media posting or anything like that. We've seen him out with Stevie J riding around on bikes. There's a lot of theories about all the talking Stevie J's doing. Some people think he's sending warning shots. Check out the video I'm going to pin below in the comments or post in the comments. It touches on that more in depth. I'm really intrigued once again to hear everyone's thoughts. You heard? But, you know, like it's just wow, like how deep you think all this goes. And, you know, some people think Stevie J was warning a lot of these celebs and quote unquote elites. As we heard Gene Deal, it's all highlighted in the video talking about politicians, preachers. There's a lot of references to Epstein, if you feel me. But out of nowhere, Diddy post a clip to this victory video and no caption except for bad boy for life. What do you make of this? What is he saying? If you don't recall, victory is a banger. That's another messed up thing about all this. It's like when everything happened with R. Kelly. Huge R. Kelly fan here. You heard, like, the man's music is so powerful, so dope. And especially with the context of a lot of the music, I was like, man, can I rock with this music anymore? Like, I don't even know what to think. You know, like, what was he saying? Where was his heart at, really, when he was putting this music out? What did he really mean? And I was just listening to Victory the other day. You know what I'm saying? The No Way Out album, classic. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we know Diddy don't write all the raps, but you know, there's a whole nother discussion, man. He knows how to put a vision together. But Victory just goes hard, man. The way they put Biggie's verse in there, the Rocky theme with the music, Busta Rhymes on the hook, a classic banger. I can't say it enough. But the video was like, I forget how much this video costed. He had Danny DeVito in the video. He really made a movie. The video is like, I think 7-8 minutes long in its entirety. You didn't really see it in its full version often after the premiere. That's what was so wild, man. But it was a different era when music videos were literally like a movie, man. Hype Williams, all that. I wonder, was Hype, I can't recall if Hype directed this or not, but it almost was like that movie Running Man or something like that, where Diddy was running from all these people chasing him, and he had to get the fuck out of Dodge, get out of town. And you know what I'm saying? In it, in the very beginning, you'll see it says New World Order. You know what I'm saying? All the way back then, I didn't peep that. So now seeing that here put into context with everything going on and Diddy running, like, what is he telling us? You know what I'm saying? With the Stevie J-ish and now this really seems to go much deeper. You know what I'm saying? That's what I keep saying when it comes to all this conspiracy-ish. Not all conspiracies are fake, you know what I mean? And it seems like more and more is being confirmed as real. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about what Diddy was saying, as well as everything. You know, that's how we rock over here. So comment on all this stuff. I'm very intrigued to hear what all the people think. As always, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We talk music, news, sports, current events, life, and much more. It's all about hearing from the people. I'm out of here. Peace. God bless. Be safe. Stay focused. 2024 times is wild. You heard?